Hello and welcome to my next lecture. In this lecture, I'm going to teach you about the Amazon Brands Registry program and how you could join that and why you should do that for your private label product. So the first thing I have here is Google screen. Just search for Amazon Brand Registry program, search for it, and it's the second listing there. And that's going to come up and bring you to this page here. Or it's going to bring you to the page of the actual application. Okay, so before you get to that, you get this here. It just tells you a little bit about the process of applying. So it tells you why you should apply. So what does it do? The program delivers the following benefits. It gives you increased authority over the listing content for your products. Okay, and what does that mean? Well, here's a listing that has that. So in the description, you're able to do things that other descriptions can't do, such as you could have bold text, and you could have the proper spacing in between your text. All other listings is just one jumbled paragraph, and you can't do any of this here. Okay, so this looks much nicer than having just one paragraph of information that is just all bundled and garbled text on top of another. I would assume that's you would agree that's this, it's better to have it like that than instead like this here. So you can see here, this is just one big long sentence, or it'd be several sentences if they wrote a longer one. So that's what they mean by having more authority over the listing. You can change the actual description to have basic HTML, so you can have bold text and the spacing that's proper for your listing. Okay, so that's important. All right. The other thing is the ability to list products without UPC codes. Okay, so that's enticing as well. So, I still recommend you grab a UPC code for your products anyway, just as a backup, or in case it takes long to get approved for this. It's generally a pretty seamless process to get approved as long as you follow the steps that I'm going to teach you. But sometimes if you don't feel like waiting, you just want to start selling right away, slap a UPC code on it, who cares, and then later on worry about not putting the stickers on it or whatever. Okay, so you click on the link at the bottom of the screen here, online application. All right, then it's going to take you to the actual application form. And in this application, it's going to ask you for your company's website, the description. So I just made up stuff here, but you would just put the stuff that you need for your company there. Do you list products in the BMVD or collectibles category? That's asking you books, movies, videos, DVDs category, or the collectibles. And you say no. How do you upload your listings? You can just say interactive listing tool. Doesn't matter what you check here. They're just looking for basic info. Then you put your brand's name here. So you make up whatever brand it is that you want. Hit add brand. You put your full name, and you put your company email and phone number. Now for the email, you need to have it at a website. So if your brand is USA1234.com, you need to have that email address at Anthony@us1234.com. You can't have it like at Gmail or something like that. It needs to be your brand, your company's email address, okay? And then the phone number there. And then you would just go to save and continue and go to the next page. On the next page, they ask you some more questions. The conditions of your product. So you have to sell new product, okay? What is your company's connection to this brand? So it's either you're the manufacturer, of your own brands, or you distribute products under your own brand label. That's most likely case because we're, importing products from China that somebody else manufactures. So that's private label. That's the one you're going to check in most cases. Additional details of your company's brand. Provide any additional details that are relevant to your company's connection to this brand. So if there is anything else that's relevant, you'd put that here, okay? Does your company design its own products for this brand? You could say yes or no. Yes, you do, or no, we brand the products, but they are designed by another company. So that's the most likely case there, because you're probably not designing the product. You're probably just going with something that they have and just slapping your brand name on it. Do you have a trademark? So most cases, that's going to be no. Do you have branded packaging for your products? So generally, you're going to say yes, or you could say no, we do not have branded packaging for our products, or no, we use another company's branded packaging for our products. But, I would say yes, because you're going to want to brand your packaging in most cases. Even if it's with a sticker that has your company logo on it that you're going to slap on the box or the bag, that would still be considered branded packaging. Okay. Does your company have a logo for this brand? So I would say yes, because you should get a logo for your brand. Okay. So you can say yes, our logo is on our products, or yes, our logo is on our packaging but not on our products, whichever the case may be. So you choose one of those options there. Does your company have a universal product code? Or these other ones here, EANs, JANs for your products. So you can say no or yes, you do have them. Okay. And then please choose the categories and corresponding key attributes for your listing. So you're just going to choose the category for your product. So say it's in the pets category, you choose pets, and then you choose the key attribute that you want to distinguish by. So, I usually go with like model number. If you have a UPC code, you could put that there. That's fine. Whatever it is you want to go. But if you're trying to avoid doing UPCs, then you could just do like model number or something like that. But, UPC is easy to do. They're very inexpensive to get also. You could buy them for like, $1 or $2 a piece, something like that. And you just need one for each major item you sell. So if you sell, this item for as long as you'll ever need it, you just have to buy one UPC code for it. Okay. Upload any images you have of that item. So if you have images that show the brand name on the packaging that associates with your product, send them to them. They need those so that they know that you own this item and it matches up with the products that you're going to have on that website on the previous page. So you need to have pictures of the branded products on that website and then show those same images to them here so that they can match those up. Okay, and that's about it. You can say here a photo clearly showing your brands physically branded on your product and their packaging. Okay. They say they don't accept computer-generated images of logos, okay, since they could be easily manipulated. All right, so you have to take real photos. All right, so moving forward, to become part of the the brand registry program, you need to have that branded website. So buy the domain name from this site here, oneand1.com. Very cheap. You can get a domain name for a year for $1. Okay, so buy the domain name here. You can see if it's available, check, and then buy it. And then, you can host it wherever you want. You could do, websites such as Wix, which is free websites or cheap websites, something like that. And then you can get email addresses that are associated with these, or you could buy, the email address associated with your domain name and link the two. You could link it through Wix. If you don't want to bother doing the design of it or editing one of these templates, just go to Fiverr again. Just get somebody to put together a basic website for you. I mean, it's so simple that, why bother, going through all the trouble yourself when you could probably hire somebody on here for a very inexpensive rate to do each of the websites for you. And I'm actually working with somebody right now who is willing to do websites for my clients. So if you're interested, you can email me, and I could give you a recommendation on somebody that could do it for a very low rate. I mean, I'm talking like $50 or less or something like that. They could just put together like a quick 3-page website that basically has your homepage, about us and contact us. And that's all you need, just showing your product on the homepage, showing that, you have the branded packaging and label and whatever, and that you have the same email address on that site as you provided them on this application. Okay, so everything needs to match up so that they link all of the things together. All right, so that's what you're going to use Fiverr for again, potentially. This is what you're going to use Wix for if you're going to want to do the editing of a template yourself or that sort of thing. You use One and One to buy the domain name and maybe even the email address for your company. And that's about it. There's not much else that you need to do. So you do all of that, and then you submit your application, and then they review it, and then they tell you if you're missing anything. So if you're missing something or if they need more information from you, they'll let you know via email. Okay? That's all I got for you for now. Stay tuned for more.